Next up, we're going to start looking at colorization of materials. I want you guys to know that colorization of these materials sort of has two properties. It has the map of the material itself, if it is a mapped material, and it has the light color reflectance of that particular material. So what we're going to focus on, let me get back inside my model. Oh, that's right, I don't really have anything. I'm going to get rid of this bottom surface. Yeah, because I don't need it. And I'm going to just do, because I think we're using our bold colors for our like linear elements. So I'm going to do that on my cove light on the edge of the cove. So let me pull up my color palette. I think it was just like a bluish color, I think. I'll just use a bluish color without having to dig that up. So let's take our wall material here and let's clone that material. I'll call this one wall blue. And while we're doing this, it might be smart for you guys to start opening up Photoshop. There are going to be two primary ways you can change the colors of these materials. So let's take a look through how this material is built, and then we'll start to understand what parts of the material we need to change in order to change the color of it without changing its character or texture. So the gloss level is really just about how the light is going to reflect off of this material. So you'll notice all of these blocks on the right-hand side just show the checker box thing. That means that no material is mapped into that mapping, meaning like that layer of mapping, whether it's reflectance or roughness or whatever. We don't need to do that one. Shiny spots, that one I don't really think it should matter that much. So here, what we're getting is basically, if you look through all three of these, not a single one of them has a material map. So you won't need to change anything in Photoshop in order to change the color of the material. So when you're looking through the gloss, the shiny spots, and then the base color, obviously this leads you to the base color layer to know that that's where you need to change the color of the material. But sometimes it's not as clear. So what you need to find is which one the reflectance 0 is giving you a more colorized look, right? So this was the one that was kind of beige or tan. If we change this to blue, and I think mine was a pretty saturated blue, kind of like that, and then refresh it, it'll show up blue. Okay, that's really just reverse engineering, and you guys can learn this on your own as you're working through the materials, which ones to change. The light reflections and stuff is a little bit different. So I've got a blue wall. I'm going to create another wall layer, and I'm going to call this wall blue. Change the band around, yeah, there we go. Change this to wall blue. And I don't know about you, but I like to make my materials in the actual scene roughly the same color of the material that I'm working with. It just helps my brain work with it. So I change it to blue. And then let's grab this. Actually, let's grab the materials first. Select the objects, right click, assign to selected. And then we'll do a quick draft render up here. Let me check my render settings real quick. I want to make sure it's low res. Let's do 320. Let's turn on our heads up. That's not our heads up, that's our heads up. Okay. Render. Oh, I forgot I turned my other lights off. Let's see, can lights, spot surf. Yeah, let's turn those off. Okay, it should show up pretty much instantly. So it's dark. I didn't really get the right lights on, but you can see that it turned blue. Oh, I can, whoop, there we go. Okay, so that's the basics of how you change a basic material. What I want to show you real quick on some other material that you download, if you wanted to use something that has a particular texture, which I am urging you to shy away from, but in certain cases you should know that certain kinds of things are there. So let's go to the Mxm Gallery. Which always appears on my other screen. And let's search for diamond plate. This is going to get really silly. I don't know if they even have it. Yeah, it is. Probably don't want to mess with that one. Let's grab like a wood material. Woods are usually pretty good. No. All right, something like this, it's like a walnut, I guess. Import that. Now, again, I'm urging you to shy away from this. This is only for certain conditions that it's absolutely necessary for you to use it. Okay. So here, when you flip through these, you're going to start to see these image maps. The texture that's loaded into these things are creating the material. So as you flip through, you'll see ones that start to show up as the actual color of the material. So you want to try and stick with like color-based materials. This one has 100% weight, and this one has a 50% weight, but this is the full color. Well, anyway, you can find the file name just by double-clicking it. And then you can find where it is. So there are two things that you kind of need to do. The black and white one, they don't have a bump map. That's good. The black and white one is it's like a specular. So that's used for just showing like when and where certain reflections are coming off of that material. And how much light is absorbed on that material. The color of the material you can modify right here. So if you need to modify it, copy the location that it's in, open it, obviously. And then you can start to manipulate it. So I'm just going to get really basic with it. So I'm going to mess with the hue saturation. I'm going to make it a little bit less saturated, so it's more of like a aged pine. Pine wouldn't get that dark though. So then you can save as, and you can say D. Now, back in Rhino, you have D at your disposal. You can open that one instead and refresh it. Oh, that turned black. Hang on, we probably want to change, color base. There we go, D. There you go, color base. Because color base was the 100 layer, not the reflections layer. So that changed that particular material. So you'll see when I select the material I want to apply it to, I say assign to selected, and do a render. You'll see that now it's got this like wood paneling thing going around it. It's going to look funky, it's not going to be exactly the right scale or anything, and we're not really doing much with scale, so that's why I'm urging you guys to shy away from it. But that's how you change material colors that have textures. Okay, the quickest way to do it is just like right there, just double click the thing, grab the location of it, go to Photoshop, make a new one, save it in the same location, and then just go right back into Maxwell and it'll go there. Now, if you guys are working in like an organization or you have an internship or something, the materials libraries are not going to be in the default location as the Maxwell Mxm Gallery. So you do need to be aware of that. Okay? I probably shouldn't have shown you that because like half of you are going to use them. Don't use that. Use it when you have a very specific need. And the kinds of things I'm talking about is like mostly with metals. So let's open up the Mxm Gallery once more. So sometimes like you guys will have an accent piece, right, with your sculptures that I'm asking you to put in, right? Let's look at this. So let's look at modern. Okay, so there are differences like between the textures of your material. So let's say I'm looking for a brushed metal and then I want like a powder coated metal or something like that. They're two different things, but for instance, you might find a gray one in powder coat, which is the one that's in blue right here, and you need to change it to blue. That's the kind of thing that I want you to use this for. It's purely for textural modifications. I don't want you to run away with using bricks and tiles and woods. I probably should have found a metal material to show that to you on. But anyway, that's what it's for. Okay, so try and stay in that realm. So with that said, you've pretty much already got all the tools you need for the rest of the semester for how to change colors. What questions do you have? No questions. All right, cool.